My parents always treated me like a servant. The day before Christmas, my mom smirked and said, "Your sister's friends will be spending Christmas here. It's only 35 people." She expected me to cook, clean, and bow. I smiled. That night, I flew to Paris for a trip. When they arrived and saw the empty kitchen, her face turned pale, but the real surprise was still to come. My name is Daniel. I'm 28, oldest of two, the one who fixes the printer, scrapes the casserole dish, and remembers when the trash goes out. I work front of house at a hotel, schedules, events, seating charts. I like lists with boxes I can tick, drawers that close all the way, and receipts that match what I actually bought. If you ask my parents, I'm dependable. If you ask me, I'm the person who keeps the lights on while everyone else enjoys the room. My sister, Leia, is 24. She's the glitter, creative, airy, meant for big things. She texts and exclamation points and never plugs in a phone charger all the way. We grew up in a small, loud house where help meant I did it and family meant I paid for it. Leia always had an audience. I always had a dish towel. When we were kids and mom had people over, I set out plates and wiped fingerprints off the fridge while Leia tried on outfits in my parents' room and appeared at the last minute for a. When I got my first job, Dad charged me $150 for the house. When Leia got hers, Mom said, "Just focus on your dreams." December is busy at the hotel. We do a dozen office parties and 2 charity galas. My December is a spreadsheet with color-coded blocks and break pinkled in like a joke. This year, I circled one day, December 24th, because it was mine. I'd saved 3 PTO days back to back for the first time ever. I wanted quiet. I wanted to wake up without a list. One day before Christmas, I stopped by my parents' place with a tin of cookies from the hotel bakery. Mom was in the kitchen wearing her hosting is my cardio sweatshirt. Dad had a football game on mute. Hila was on the couch, bare feet tucked under her, scrolling. Mom greeted me with that bright tone she uses when there's already a plan. "Oh, perfect timing," she said. "Your sister's friends are spending Christmas here. Only 35 people." I laughed because sometimes the only sound you can make is a mistake. 35, Yela beamed without looking up. "It's basically my whole creative cohort plus once." She said vibes. Mom started pulling out the big roasting pan. "We'll do stations," she said. "Grazing board, carving dessert. You can do the timeline." "Me," I said like I was a guest in this conversation. "Obviously you," Dad said, eyes on the screen. "You're good at this." Mom was already listing. "We need chairs. We need extra ice. We need a vegetarian option. You'll handle the turkey, the ham, the salmon. Oh, ask your hotel if you can borrow Chaffers. And Leia needs a mocktail bar. And there's a gluten-free person. And 2 gluten-free," Leia said, still scrolling. Mom looked at me with a smirk I know too well. "Don't worry," she added. "Grown men don't need to open presents. They need to take responsibility." Dad, without looking, added, "Get used to discipline, son. You've got 24 hours. My mouth did that small smile it does when I want to say no, but the room expects yes. The kitchen was bright. The counter was clean. The roasting pan's metal sounded like a bell when Mom set it down. I glanced at the fridge where Mom had stuck a sticky note that said menu and a blank under it like a dare. I could feel a list trying to crawl into my head and sit down. 35, I repeated. Only Mom said. Yela snapped a photo of the empty cutting board like the start of a cooking show. "Christmas content," she said. I set the cookies on the counter. I took a breath I hoped nobody could hear. And I said very quietly, "Got it." I didn't argue. Not there. Not then. I walked to the sink and ran the water and watched it turn hot. The faucet hissed like a secret. The trigger wasn't a shout. It was that smirk. It was only 35. It was the way my name had already been written on a blank menu in a house where I didn't live. I dried my hands on a towel that always smells like lemon cleaner and put the cookies in the pantry. Nobody asked me what I wanted for Christmas. They never do. Someone should have. The job title at the hotel says Assistant Event Manager. In my family, it translates to free labor with a smile. It started small. I plated dealed eggs when I was 12 because you're neat with your hands. By 16, I was grilling for 20 because you're good with timing. By 20, I was the one who knew where Mom kept the extra tablecloths and how to wedge a folding table so it didn't wobble. You're a natural. Mom would say like she discovered me. Money always showed up with a new name. Dad called it discipline when he took $150 from my part-time paycheck for room and board. Mom called it helping when she added me to the family phone plan and then forgot to switch her card back after I paid 2 months in a row. Leia called it energy when she texted, "Can you spot me $83? The universe will return it." The universe never did. There were scenes that live in my head like reruns. Senior year, my graduation party was combined with Hila's early portfolio showing. I set up lights, hauled ice, and got told to move my own cake to make room for her ring light. When I got a promotion at the hotel, I brought champagne. Mom reached past the bottle and said, "Oh good, you can finally buy those new dining chairs." We did. I paid. Dad said, "A man provides." Like furniture was a test I'd been told about too late. The family group chat is a beehive for assignments. Daniel, can you pick up Aunt Ray at 4? Daniel, Costco run. Daniel, table for 12. I learned to answer with thumbs up or not at all. When I didn't respond, Mom would text, "Don't be cold," and then call the hotel, just popping by, and ask my manager to remind me about our big family weekend. My manager would smile politely and deliver the message like it was a flower hiding a thorn. Leia drifted through everything like a balloon. She soft-launched 3 businesses and fully launched none. Candles, pop-up brunches, a podcast that was basically mood boards. She got handed a leased SUV for safety and cried when Dad told her she had to pay the insurance. "It's predatory," she said. I watched Dad spin predatory into a sermon about how the world mistreats artists. Then he turned to me. "Make room." Make room for what? For who? For the version of my sister that only exists in captions? Last Christmas, I cooked for 18 because Grandma couldn't anymore. I made the shopping list, covered the extras. That quietly became tradition. I sliced my thumb when the good knife met the wrong angle. Mom pressed a dish towel to the cut and asked, "You okay?" She didn't pause. None of us did. Dinner went out at 5 in March. Leia hosted a vision brunch for 12 and used my hotel discount to rent chafers. "You can bring them," she said. "You know how to set them up." Later she posted a photo with my hands in the frame, captioned, "Grateful for community." 2 strangers texted asking if I catered. I replied, "No." Then Mom texted, "We could turn this into a business." April was the rent talk. "Stop wasting money," Dad said. "Move back home. Save." He said save like it meant the same thing to everyone. But our house had 1 bathroom and 3 people who never knocked. I stayed in my 1 bedroom, with creaky floors and silence I paid for. I swallowed their disappointment like a pill without water. Summer was heavy at the hotel. Every Saturday, another couple, candles, a DJ who thought volume was love. I worked overtime and bought a suitcase. I started a folder called Elsewhere, photos, lists, prices. Not because I hated my family, but because I wanted to feel what it was like to be in a room where nobody knew my last name. By fall, Mom's request shifted from "can you" to "you will." She sent a Google sheet titled Christmas Plan. The first line wasn't "who's coming." It was menu. Daniel under budget. She wrote, "We'll discuss," which really meant I'd pay and they'd forget. Then the guest list ballooned to 35. Leia's friends, Leia's people. Names like Forrest, Arya, Sage, and 1 guy who only went by initials. Mom made a wish list like a Pinterest board with a pulse. "Just think how nice it'll look," she said. "We'll need rental chairs, 35 tablecloths, 7 more plates. You can borrow from the hotel. No one will notice." I said they will. She waved it off. "It's the season." Dad added, "We need a signature cocktail. You do those, right? Not too sweet. Use the good ice. And you might as well cover the Costco run. Your card gets points." Leia chimed in. "No dairy, no soy, no nuts, no nightshades. But make it cozy." I looked at them and saw the whole shape of it. Me at dawn, basting 2 birds, slicing vegetables, texting staff to see if anyone had a spare heat lamp. Me with a timer in 1 hand, a ladle in the other. Me at 10 p.m., dragging trash bags to the curb while Leia filmed a "what a night" story. And Mom said, "We did that." Then she dropped the last garnish and added, "And you'll put down the tent deposit today?" She said it like weather was on my payroll. "It's only $900 to hold." "Only," Dad echoed. He pulled that word out like a pocket knife and cleaned his nails with it. "Who's paying me back?" I asked. The room went quiet, like I'd said something obscene. Mom spoke first. "Don't be transactional. It's ugly. This is family." Dad followed. "We're giving you a project. You should be grateful. Grateful for what? For being staff at my own family's event. I swallowed and nodded. I nodded because that's what I do when my head is loud and my mouth wants to stay quiet. That night, I opened the Elsewhere folder. I looked at a photo I'd saved. A gray street, a bakery on the corner, a blue door. I stared until my shoulders loosened. I didn't tell anyone what was in that folder. It wasn't a secret. It was a boundary that hadn't yet learned to speak. The meeting happened the next morning, because Mom loves a meeting. She had a printed agenda with boxes and a title, Christmas Run of Show. Dad had his coach voice. Leia had her camera in selfie mode, ready for behind the scenes. We sat at the kitchen table. The roasting pan gleamed on the counter like a trophy I never wanted. Mom began, "Okay, Daniel, you'll shop tonight. 2 turkeys, 1 ham, salmon fillet for the pescatarians, a veggie station for the plant-based people. We'll set up the rental chairs at noon tomorrow. You can pick them up at 9. No. I said Dai wasn't loud. It was clean. 3 heads turned. Leia's camera froze. Mom blinked. Her smile stuck like a frozen screen. What? No. I repeated. I'm not catering your party. Dad leaned back. Watch your tone. This is my tone, I said evenly. Leia laughed, the mean kind. You're joking. I'm not, I said. I'm not your chef. I'm not your runner. I'm not your rental account. I'm your son. I'm Leia's brother. Mom's voice went syrupy. Sweetheart, we're family. We show up. I do show up, I said. I've been showing up for years, with my hands and with my card. Dad's jaw tightened. A man provides. I know. I've heard that since I was 15. Here's mine. A man sets limits. I'm not cooking Christmas for 35 of Leia's friends. I'm not paying deposits. I'm not hauling chafers. I'm not risking my job for your party. Leia glared like fire. So what? We just cancel? You'll embarrass me. No, I said. You'll host your party with your resources. Daniel. Mom's voice cracked sharp now, the one with edges. Don't ruin the holiday. I held her gaze. I'm not ruining it. I'm opting out of being your staff. Dad slammed his palm on the table. Silverware jumped. We will not be disrespected in our own house, Dad said. I stood. Then respect me in your house. Mom pulled the last lever. After everything we've done for you. I know, I said. You raised me, fed me. Since 16, I paid you rent. I put you on my phone plan. I covered groceries. I ran your parties. I love you. But I'm done being your unpaid employee. You're jealous, Leia snapped. I like you, I said. I don't like being used. Dad's face went red. If you walk out, don't come back. You're banned from Christmas. Banned. I echoed. Like I was a kid asking for the car. This isn't revenge, I said. It's closure. I'm closing the role you wrote for me. If you leave, you're selfish, Mom said. If I stay, I'm a servant. I choose selfish. I left quietly, took my coat, took the cookies I'd brought, and reminded them Grandma was covered for the holiday. That night, at home, I opened my Elsewhere folder. Sitting there was my yes, a round-trip ticket to Paris, hotel booked with points. I'd saved all year. I checked in, printed my boarding pass, packed light. Phone buzzing nonstop. Mom, Dad, Leia. I sent one text. I'm not hosting your party. AT 11:45. Wheels up. The city fell away like a conversation I didn't need to finish. By the time guests arrived at my parents' house, the ovens were cold, the counters bare. Their texts turned frantic. Where's the turkey? Where's the knife? We need ice. I put my phone face down on the hotel desk and looked out at a street moving like a quiet thought. I went to a bakery I'd read about. Ordinary, good. The woman handed me a bag. I said the only word I had left. Mercy. Back in my room, text stacked. No mocktail. Out of plates. Where's the good salt? I typed, then deleted. My kitchen doesn't have the good salt. At 8:12, Grandma. Taxi scheduled. Thank you. By night. The tone shifted. You're banned. You're cut off. You're dead to me. From what? The unpaid internship I'd held in their lives. I ate warm bread and slept early. Christmas morning was quiet. Coffee, gray sky, a river walk. At noon, Grandma sent a photo, paper crown, roasted chicken, smiling. Caption, good warm. I smiled back. Afternoon, I cut ties, removed my family from my phone plan, bank, groceries, accounts, locks. Not punishment, just cleaning. At 2:40, Mom texted, reset after the holiday. I answered, I'm not resetting to being your staff. On the 26th, I found an email, a 3-month assignment in Paris. I accepted. Notice given. Boxes to a friend. Better than okay. I texted. On the 27th, I flew home. Mom called me ungrateful. Dad called me selfish. Leia begged for help. Grandma asked for a magnet. That I could do. Back in my apartment, I made an exit list and checked boxes. The real change wasn't Paris. It was that the silent, useful version of me didn't return to I in January. The noise died down. They asked again. I said no. I packed, left Grandma a note, and on my last night cooked pasta on the floor at the airport. Mom texted, "Are you proud of yourself?" Yes, I wrote. I stopped lying to myself. Now in Paris, I walk to work, make coffee, send Grandma pictures. I ignore the group chat until it goes quiet. People ask for a moral. I have mine. I didn't escape. I closed the door I'd been holding open for years. I'm not a servant. I'm not a wallet. My name is Daniel. I took the trip, the job, my life back. Someday I'll bring Grandma another magnet. And when someone says only 35, I'll answer with the clearest word I own. No, I own